This is the Highly Sensitive Club, episode number 25.
Have you been told you're too sensitive, too dramatic, or too much? Do you have big feelings and deep thoughts you don't always know what to do with? I'm Stephanie Linton, a certified life coach and highly sensitive person. I've helped dozens of highly sensitive clients feel more energized, more confident, and more in control of their high sensitivity. In these episodes, you'll get the information and inspiration to level up your life as a highly sensitive person too. Welcome to the Highly Sensitive Club.
Hello, highly sensitive person, and welcome to this week's episode of the Highly Sensitive Club. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode, but it is going to be story time because I have told this story to 3 or 4 people and they're all like, oh my God, you have to talk about that on the podcast. So today's episode is about stepping outside your comfort zone, challenging yourself, and being bold as a highly sensitive person. This is incredibly important to me and something I've been thinking about a lot lately because I think that as highly sensitive people, sometimes we use our sensitivity as an excuse not to do things. And I know that that might push some buttons, but I notice it in myself and I notice it sometimes in my clients or in my friends and in my loved ones, where we think, I'm highly sensitive and the world is not friendly to me. So I'm just not going to bother. I'm not even going to participate. I'm not going to do the things that I want to do. This is probably why you maybe aren't participating in social media. Maybe it's why you want to create something, but you're not sharing it with anyone. Maybe it's why you want to be more assertive or more communicative about something that you want or your preferences, but you're afraid to do that and you're afraid to step outside that comfort zone. This shows up in a lot of different ways for highly sensitive people. And I want you to know that your sensitivity is not a detriment or a reason for you not to have the things that you want to have in your life. Let me say that again. Your sensitivity is not a barrier to you having the things that you want to have in your life. It's just a situation, it's part of who you are, that you might need to do some things differently in order to work with it instead of against it. But there's nothing wrong with it, and there's no reason why you can't have everything you want with your high sensitivity. I truly believe this. It's something I'm working on for myself. And it's something I want you to know too, because it is really easy to say, oh, my high sensitivity is acting up today, or I'm just highly sensitive. I don't want to get into those conversations, or I don't want to get into those situations. But there's a part of you that really does. And if that is resonating with you, which I bet it is, then I have a story for you. As I have mentioned in previous episodes, I continue to get coaching. I'm in group coaching programs. I love being in the coaching environment. I have a mentor who coaches me, and I just believe in the product and in the practice so much that I continue to get coaching. In one of my group coaching programs, the task for June is to build your self-confidence. And the idea behind self-confidence is to trust yourself that you have your own emotions, even the negative and very uncomfortable and very intense ones, which is crucial for highly sensitive people. But self-confidence also comes from facing your fears and knowing that you can do difficult things. Now, I have been through plenty of hard things in my life. I have started 2 businesses. I've changed careers. I have had big friend breakups. I've had big romantic breakups. I have reset familial relationships and gone through years and years of therapy and coaching and counseling and programs and so many things that have felt so scary at the time and now feel like this is just part of who I am. For instance, I was terrified of public speaking until about 4 years ago when I became the president of the local NAPO chapter, which stands for which stands for the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals. And this was the organization that I joined when I was a professional organizer in my previous career. And I knew that I wanted to step into a leadership role. And so I challenged myself to do that and to step in as president for a couple of years. I had actually intended to stay for an extra year when I had decided that I wanted to go full-time into coaching, and it just wasn't a good fit anymore. But I do remain on the board, and I do care about the organization and the group and just the lovely collection of people that are part of NAPO Ohio. I did not feel comfortable speaking in front of people until I had to start getting up in front of 30 people every couple of months and reading the agenda and running the meeting and doing the business portion. I didn't have that skill. I didn't have the skill of facilitating a Zoom meeting until I was trained by my coach training academy to facilitate our practice calls and facilitate the focus webinars and the mastery sessions and to become a mentor coach. I didn't have any of those skills until I went in and I did them. I didn't know how to hold a workshop. I didn't know how to facilitate conversations. I didn't know how to publish a podcast until I started publishing a podcast and figuring it out. All of these things felt super, super scary to me, let alone publishing a blog every week and sending out a newsletter every week, publishing and producing and launching new programs. All of those things felt scary at one time, and they don't anymore. So what is still a challenge? Well, I can tell you there are plenty of things that still bring up my anxiety and still bring up my fear responses. They have a number of suggestions in the group coaching program on how to face your fears so that you can really make intense emotions come up and know that you can handle them. And one of the things that they recommend, if you are very comfortable with speaking in public or writing something and share it with someone or asking for a raise or doubling your rates, if you are comfortable with all of those things, they also recommend that you ask for a discount. Oh, buddy, asking for a discount makes me so uncomfortable because I feel like I haven't done anything to deserve it. I'm not part of a rewards program. I shouldn't even be asking for this. I have so many privileges. I have so many things to be grateful for. I have the money to pay for this. Why would I ask for a discount? And you ask for the discount because it's scary and because it brings up your fears of other people's judgments. So twice last week, I asked for a discount. And the first time the woman did what I suspected I probably would have done, which is, I really don't know how to do that. And I said, that's okay. The only thing I was supposed to do was ask you, and I made it through. So thank you for that. And she was like, okay. So I went out to dinner this past weekend with one of my partners, and we had a lovely waitress. She was awesome. And as she was coming around for the check, she went to pick up the card and I said, I have a weird question to ask you. And already my heartbeat is getting faster and faster and my face is flushing and it's just turning bright red and I can feel the heat. And she says, what? And I said, can we have a discount? And I said it just like that. And she goes, why? Now, at this point, I definitely wanted to abandon ship and just say, like, never mind, don't worry. I didn't mean it. I was just joking. No big deal. And instead, I leaned in and I said, because I'm trying to do things that scare me, and it scares me to ask you for a discount. And she says, just for that, I'm going to give you the discount. And she took the card and she went back to the register and she took $10 off of our meal, which ended up being about 20% off. I was flabbergasted. Not only that she did it and that it worked, but that I actually made it through the experience. I was breathing heavily. My heartbeat, as I said, was going a million miles a minute. My whole face was so red. If it had happened while I'm wearing this pink shirt, I would have matched my shirt 100%. I was so embarrassed and just so worried about her judgments about me. And who is this woman? I can't believe she asked for that, even though she gave us the discount and she came back and she said, here's your discount. And I had so many thoughts coming up about it. But the long and the short of this is that I was able to make it through. I sat with the emotions. I sat with my own judgments about what a spoiled brat I was to ask for that. I can't believe that. And I also, I'm borrowing a family member's car, and it's a BMW. I don't drive a BMW. I drive a very lovely Honda HR-V that I love so much. Evie is my pride and my steed and my right-hand car gal. I love this car. But driving a BMW has been really fun. And we walked out of the restaurant and I thought, if she sees me walking up to this BMW after asking for a discount, I am going to melt into the floor and absolutely die. I have no idea whether she saw us getting into a very expensive car after asking for a discount. We ended up tipping it back to her, so she ended up getting a 50% tip and getting it back anyway. I'm sure she wasn't expecting that, but my whole point for you is that it's okay for you to step a little bit outside your comfort zone and to face your fears as a highly sensitive person. And I know that this is scary because your emotions and your sensations from those emotions are really intense. And it literally feels like you're going to die of exposure or embarrassment or something, and you can do it anyway. And this is why I am sharing this story with you, because I am constantly pushing myself to try new things in service of being a leader in service of being in the world and sharing my voice and putting myself out there and taking up more space because I want to model that for you, my dear highly sensitive person. I want you to know that if you want to have a very quiet, introspective, slow moving, slow paced, peaceful, calm life as a highly sensitive person, that's wonderful. I fully support that. I think that's a beautiful life. If that is what you want, then go for it. I'm so excited for you. And there are so many things about high sensitivity that will help you create that life. If, like me, you want to take up more space, you want to be a leader, you want to share your voice, you want to have some boldness and to challenge yourself, even with your high sensitivity, and to do it in a way that nobody else has seen it before, because doing it like a non-highly sensitive person doesn't work for us. If that's something that you want, then I am happy to pave the road for you. I'm happy to go first and do really silly things like asking for discounts when I absolutely don't need one for the sheer terror of facing my own thoughts and judgments and emotions and making it through to the other side, because this is frankly a comical story, and I am more self-confident on the other side. It has helped me reach out to people I've been scared to reach out to. It has helped me offer my services when I've been scared or embarrassed about offering my services. It has helped me show up online on Facebook and on social media when I have been very resistant to it, which I know a lot of highly sensitive people are too. So if you want to take up more space, if you want to be more bold, if you want to challenge yourself too, you absolutely can. And there's nothing about having high sensitivity that has to hold you back. It's just that the way that you go about doing it might be a little bit different than the way that most people go about doing it. That's not a bad thing. In fact, you might be paving the way for someone else to be able to know that they can do something without the hustle, without the guilt, without the endless productivity and sacrificing themselves and their well-being and their work-life balance in order to make things happen, especially for someone else. You might be modeling that for someone else, and I hope to do that for you. I hope to model as a highly sensitive person that you can do things differently and you can still grow. You can still challenge yourself. You can still share your voice. You can still take up space. You can still be big and bright and shiny and still be highly sensitive and still have all of those juicy things that make us so great and human. I hope that this episode was, if nothing else, very funny for you. Every time I tell this story, people just die laughing. And I'm like, I thought I was going to die of embarrassment. It was horrible, and I made it through. So maybe you can challenge yourself to take a risk, see how you feel, see if you can push yourself to try things that you might be afraid of because you're worried about other people's judgment, or you're anxious about how it's going to turn out, or you're afraid that it's not going to meet the standards that you have so highly anticipated for yourself, and try it anyway. And then know that you have yourself on the other side. And if you would like help with this, I do have 3 ways that you can work with me. One is my group coaching program, Highly Sensitive Society. The second is my 6-week group coaching program, Emotional Alchemy, which is fully intended for you to feel these emotions and process through them just like I've been doing and challenging myself. And I do one-on-one coaching as well in 3-month or 6-month packages. So you can find all of that information at stephanielynn.com. But what I really want to share with you today is 2 freebies that I think you will find really interesting. If you're listening to this episode, you probably already know that you're a highly sensitive person. But I bet you know a highly sensitive person who doesn't know that they are. In that case, I have created a quiz on how to determine if you are a highly sensitive person. And you can find that at my website, stephanielynn.com, and it's /quiz, which will also be in the show notes. So that if you know a highly sensitive person, or if you think they might be highly sensitive, send them to take my free quiz so that they can find out for themselves and see if this is actually a part of their identity and their personality and the way they see the world, that they might be able to incorporate and really turn things around and create some beautiful, juicy, creative things in their lives. The second thing that I want to share with you as a highly sensitive person is free access to a workshop that I just keep coming back to over and over again. And it's called Closing Out Old Energy. This is a closing ritual that I created specifically for tasks and projects that I was trying to wring out the last little bits of value for. But I found that the participants that worked through the workshop with me were doing it on relationships that they were still holding on to, even after decades. And by doing the ritual, they were able to let go of a lot of those hurt feelings, a lot of those wounds, and to move forward with so much more positivity and appreciation and love for themselves, and maybe even for the person that they were able to close out that energy with too. I want to offer this for free because it is by far my most positively reviewed workshop. I know that you, as a highly sensitive person, are probably carrying around some old wounds or some old emotions that you are ready to let go of. So if you are interested, go to my website, stephanielynn.com, and I will have that on the front page, and I will have it in the footer of all of the pages so that you have access to the free workshop, Closing Out Old Energy. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, for watching it, for being witness to my very embarrassing moment. And I'm not even done. So I may have to come back and tell you how it goes at the end of June, but this is just the beginning. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you on the next episode, my dear highly sensitive person.
Thanks for listening. If you're ready to take what you learned today to the next level, head over to StephanieLynn, that's LINN.com, and book a consultation call to get started. I can't wait to see you there, my dear HSP.